Wise up. What's really good? Hopefully everybody having a good day. If you're not having a good day, hopefully before the day is over, that changes. My name is Tyrone Hunter, and this is What's Really Good Entertainment. As you see by the title, it's called I'm Still Working on My Faith. Not sure how long this video gonna be. I'm gonna try to answer a lot of questions. I'm gonna try to give a lot of understanding from my perspective. If you're not a religious individual, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you don't believe in any religion, you may feel like this video is not for me. I'm going to scroll past it, and that's okay. But what I would say to you is maybe you want to stick around so in this way you can come to an understanding as to Jesus Christ, as to faith, as to how to walk that walk, as to just the fact that people that follow Jesus Christ or other religions, we're regular, ordinary people just like you. At one time or another, we was living whatever life we was living. We wasn't concerned about religion, wasn't concerned about Jesus Christ. And something happened in life that made us a believer. Something made us believe that our lives had more to offer than what it is that we was doing. As well as the fact that, some people, the struggles that they go through in life, they can't find the answers themselves. So what they do is they look towards religion. And this is why a lot of people follow religion. Then you have other people who religion was introduced to them when they was young. So they just kind of carried on tradition. And for them, it's second nature. They never questioned, the teachings. They never questioned why they believe. It's they believe because the belief was instilled in them from a young age. So now that I got that background, out the way, again, if you appreciate what it is I'm about to say, like the video, share the video, because, somebody could be inspired or somebody could come to a different understanding as to religion, as to Jesus Christ, as to faith in general, just by viewing this. And if you decide that you're not going to watch it, then, that's perfectly fine. Hopefully you stick around to the end of the video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm still working on my faith. And what that means is I realize I'm not a perfect person. And just because I'm a follower and believer in the teachings of Jesus Christ don't mean that I got it all figured out. It don't mean that I don't make mistakes. It don't mean that I don't fall short. And that's what a lot of people believe. If you're into religion, if you're into a certain belief, people tend to think that you're a perfect individual, that you don't have no problems in life. You don't have no struggles in life. You're not battling with things. The opposite is true. I battle every day because we're still living in a world where there's temptation, there's evil, there's our own personal desires, there's our own personal thoughts and feelings. And sometimes we act on those thoughts and those feelings, which cause us to go disaccording to that in which we say we believe. And all that goes to say and to show is that when you walking with God or when you following religion, it's not as easy and as simple as just because you become a believer, your life becomes perfect. You no longer have issues. That's what a lot of people believe. Now, whether you believe in Jesus Christ, whether you believe in, Allah, whether you believe in Buddha, whatever religion it is that you believe in, people seek a belief system or seek something or somebody that will help them understand or navigate through life. Some people wasn't taught what morality is. Some people wasn't taught discipline. Some people wasn't taught respect. Some people wasn't taught manners. Some people wasn't taught how to act or think in certain situations. So because the Bible, it gives guidance in terms of how to live and how to navigate through life, a lot of people find it easier. A lot of people find it easier to follow some sort of religious doctrine so that they can live a good and decent life. Now, that's not to say you can't live a good and decent life without any religious background. It just kind of gives you a foundation, to live your life. Now, for me, and because I'm still in my walk, I'm still seeking to understand my walk, I'm still seeking to understand the journey. I still have questions, I still have feelings, I narrowed things down to two particular kind of people. One of those kind of people are religious people, and the other kind of people are spiritual people. The difference between the two is religious people. Those are the ones that follow the doctrines as well as the traditions of whatever religion. Meaning, if their religious book teaches them to pray a certain amount of times a day, they're going to pray. If their religious doctrine teaching them that they shouldn't do certain things, they're going to try their best not to do certain things. If their religious doctrine teaches them that they have to go into a religious house to worship, that's what they're going to do. And then they get instructions from whomever the religious teacher is. So that's the one kind of people, the religious people, where pretty much they adhere to the word of their religious Bible, and they actually enter into the religious houses of worship, and that's where they get their instructions, their guidance, so forth and so on. The other kind of people you have are spiritual people, right? So spiritual people are those that believe there's a voice within inside them. They identify that voice as God, and they follow that voice, right? They listen to what their spirit tells them to do, and they act accordingly. Now, they may or may not enter into a religious house of worship, but that don't mean that they're not followers of, that particular religion. It may sound a little confusing, but it's not. In a nutshell, the difference is you have some people that physically go to a house of worship to get their instructions, to get their belief in their teachings of God. And then you have the other ones that rely on the voice within them to guide them, so that they have more of a one-on-one relationship with the Creator. Me, myself personally, at this point in time, I would say I'm a little bit more spiritual than religious, because I don't go to any particular church, and I'm not in a house of worship a few times a week like some people may be. Now, granted, when I was younger, I went to church often, right? Be it my grandmother, be it my aunt, a friend of mine's mother used to take me to church. Then in my early teen years, I used to go to church. So I had that background in terms of being in a house of worship. But the thing about life is when you get older, you seek your own understanding, and you seek to have your own understanding. And then you have questions, right? You want to question whether or not what it is that you believe in or what it is that you're following, is it right and exact? Is it right for you? Is it befitting for you? And that caused some people to go astray from the church. That caused some people, to explore other religions, or it caused other people just to, kind of live their life day to day and try to figure it out as they go. Me, I was all of those people in one. My background is, I grew up in New York City, in the city, the ghetto, the struggle, and we all know what goes along with growing up in the ghetto, growing up in the hood. There are certain activities that seem interesting, that seems appealing. You know, you're dealing with poverty. You have a desire to want to have a better life. So a lot of people like me and others that I knew, we decided to explore the streets and kind of see what that was about. And in the course of my life, you know, choosing that path, it led me down some dark hallways, you know, some dark roads. It led to me becoming an individual that I didn't understand. And as a result, I was incarcerated, did time in prison, and in prison where you have nothing but time to think, you looking and seeking to be strong, you looking for guidance and direction, you trying to understand. You know, a lot of people tend to choose religion. I already had a background in religion, so that wasn't, you know, that wasn't my story. However, I did find myself, you know, questioning God, you know, wondering about God, you know, and just going through that whole process. And since I've been in society, you know, certain things happen in my life, and then me looking back and seeing so many of the people that I knew and that I grew up with, you know, how their lives were cut down, you know, they passed away. Others that I knew fell victim to drug addiction, and some were just lost in the sauce. A lot of people I know, you know, they're still doing the same thing. I wanted a little bit better for my life, so I started the process of seeking to live a better life, changing a lot of my ways and actions. And I came to an understanding that the primary reason that I'm still here is because of God. Because there were so many instances, there were so many situations that I experienced and that I encountered that I look back and said, why am I still here? Or, you know, why certain things didn't happen to me that happened to other people that I knew? Why I'm not suffering from drug addiction, you know? Why I'm not still living the life that I used to live? If you leave it up to me, my mind was made up in terms of the path that I had chose. And I was comfortable with that because I didn't know no better. But all in time, all through experiences, something inside me was like, nah, it gotta be something different. You know, you gotta do something different so that you don't get the same results. So that's my personal journey. And again, in that journey and in that walk, I'm not a super religious individual. You know, I don't go to church every day. I read my Bible, and I still seek to understand and just striving to be a better person. So that's pretty much what it means to walk with God. You're just striving to be a better person. You're striving to be a good person. You're striving to stay away from, you know, evil and bad and want to tend more towards good. But you're still human. You're still going to fall short. You're still going to make some choices and decisions that, you know, may not be in accordance with the word and with the Bible. And because I'm a follower and believer of Jesus Christ, I would like to say this. If you look at the disciples of Christ, which means, you know, the followers of Christ, there were 12 disciples. Now, in the Bible, it teaches you, as well as it tells you about the background of those disciples. Some of those disciples were engaged in all manner, you know, of crime and of evil. And they converted to the teachings of Christ and to the teachings of Christianity because they either wanted something different, you know, they experienced something different, they heard a word or the word that moved them to go on a different path, and that's how they became the followers of Christ. And I'm only saying that to say Good people are not the only ones that follow Christ, God, or any religion. You have people that have terrible backgrounds that they just wake up one day and say, okay, well, I'm going to do something different. I want to do something different. So for anybody that's been questioning or wondering, about God, about Christ, about religion, and why people follow, or, whether or not they can follow, or the type of people that follow, you have good and evil people in society just as well as you have good and evil people inside some of these churches and congregations. And that's just the facts. This is not me seeking to say church or people that follow God are good or bad. You have a combination of them. And everybody's going to be judged for their actions after it's all said and done. That's my belief. So whatever their walk is, whatever their experience is, whatever it is that they're doing, everybody's going to be held accountable. Now, every day for me, I'm seeking to grow stronger in my faith. If you follow my channel, I have a series of shorts. I give, some motivation, encouraging information. And I start off all of those videos with what did God say about, and then there's certain topics. I mean, some of the comments and some of the things, that people say, I just kind of let it blow right by me. But for the most part, the reception is positive because people look at it like I'm seeking to give positive and encouraging information, and that's what I do. Now, if you look at some of my other videos that I have on my page, you'll see content while I'm speaking about some of the things that's going on in the world. Is that a contradiction? Not at all. It's more than one thing to talk about. And because I'm still practicing my faith and I'm still seeking to grow stronger in my faith, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to have human tendencies where I'm not going to speak about, things that other people in the world speak about. I'm going to speak about what it is that I want to speak about. I just seek to do so in a manner that's consistent with what I believe. And nowadays, the topics that I tend to speak about are things that are more encouraging, more uplifting, more on the positive side. Now, does that mean to say that in the future, I'm not going to speak about other topics? No, we just have to wait and see. But one thing you can trust and be assured of is that there's going to be a message. There's going to be something, positive, something uplifting, something that you can actually learn from me in a way where it would benefit your life or would benefit the life of somebody that, Religious is a very difficult topic to talk about. It's way too much to cover in one setting. I may or may not do a part 2 to this video. This is more so, an introduction as well as to share with you all my walk and my journey, and to give an understanding as to the mindset behind people that believe in religion. I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for a part of the people. I only could speak for me and my personal experiences, because ultimately your walk with God, whomsoever you choose to believe in, is going to be a personal relationship. It's going to be a relationship that you have with the Creator. And if you're seeking further understanding of your religious book, if you're seeking, to understand more of what your religious book entails, then you'll go to church and you'll get instruction and you'll hear word from, whomsoever the religious leader of that faith is. And that's what church is about. Just to, give you a word, to help you understand the word, to help you navigate the word. That's what, religious teachers and instructors do. You can read the Bible on your own at your house and in the comfort of your home. and you can grow in your faith that way as well. I don't really get into the differences of faith, meaning one versus the other. I don't believe myself personally that there's one particular religious doctrine that's greater than another. I personally believe that it's up to each individual to choose and decide who and what they want to believe in. Now, whether they choosing the right belief or the wrong belief, that's not for me to say. That's not for you to say. That's not for anybody else to say. That's something that they'll find out after it's all said and done. That's something that you'll have to answer to on the day of judgment if you believe that there's a judgment day. And that's something that I strongly believe, that there is a judgment day. It's just too much evidence and proof, that I've come across that lead me to believe that, yes, God is real. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any concerns, please feel free to share them. If you have a story, in regards to a time where you wasn't a believer and now you're a believer, I would like to hear from you. If you're not a believer and you feel like, this is all an illusion, people are crazy for believing in mystery gods, I would like to hear from you as well. And if you have just general, comments, concerns, questions, or things that you want to add on, just feel free to put it in the comment section. This is not a perfect video. This is not something scripted. This is not something that was meant to answer any and every question that you have in terms of religion. This was more so to express as well as convey to you that just because you follow religion or just because you're a believer in a particular religious doctrine, that you're human just like everybody else. You make mistakes just like everybody else. And people should be aware that there's nobody perfect. Everybody is seeking and searching for something. And whatever works for you, allow that to work for you. Be it religion or be it any other way that you choose to live your life. Because it's your personal choice. I'm just a person that has some experiences, and I decided that this is the route that I wanted to go in my life, and it's working for me. It's working for so many others, but there are people that don't follow religion, that how they're living is working for them. And, that's just the long and short of it. But I'm going to continue to give, positive, encouraging, uplifting information. You could check out some of my shorts. You could check out some of my videos, because there's something to learn from any and everything that I say, because I choose and I decided to be a vessel, somebody that's going to share positive and uplifting information in the hopes that it can help somebody else through their day, or it could help them in their life. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm just a regular person working on my faith, walking my walk every day, hoping for the best. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Stay tuned for more, and hope you have a blessed day. What's really good?